Hey guys, welcome back to Escaping Free-to-Play Season 3, Episode 2. So in this episode, we're going to be sort of pushing for that 1 mil cash stack. Now 1 mil cash stack in RS3 nowadays is not a lot, but it's that first big cash stack to get the ball rolling. With Runescape 3, the more cash you have, the easier cash is to make. So this 1 mil probably will be the hardest bit we're going to have just to get started. But I'm really happy with how the first episode went. We did a lot of ground laying stuff. We went through the rules, all of that. So if you want to see that, or if you want to catch up on that, I'll make sure that's in the corner of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching the previous video and all the love on it as well. I'm so happy it's gone down so well. If you are looking to enter into the bond giveaway for this series, basically the question is, how quick do you think I'm going to get this bond sorted? A day, an hour sort of answer. Make sure to go visit the first video because that's the only one I'll be looking at the answers for. And whoever gets the closest to my overall gameplay time will then receive the bond. So last episode, what we basically did was just do a lot of the pathway stuff. Again, I've done a little bit more than what I needed to do. You don't have to follow the pathway if you're more competent at the game, but if you want a nice explanation of what to do and why to do it, it is very, very good. So gameplay and what we're planning to do for this episode. So currently as it stands, I have these 3 items selling on the Grand Exchange because these 3 items will push where I go in the future. So Ball of Wool is there because I think that's going to be a better thing to spin for crafting. I can buy wool for like 600 GP. And if I can turn a Ball of Wool into 2,000 coins, it's going to outperform bowstrings, which is slightly cheaper than what they used to be. 725 is still incredible profit for the level I need to do it. And it's going to be a very good way to train crafting. But again, Ball of Wool can absolutely outperform it. A standard short bow, Grand Exchange price at the minute is 4,000 coins, which with what the bowstring price is and the fact I can go and check my woodcutting, can make a lot of money with fletching those bows as well as buying the supplies to do it as well. There's a big chance you can make a lot of profit making these short bows. So they're little things to test how things are going to sell and how things are going to buy. And that's what I use my Grand Exchange slots for. During this series up towards a bond, these 3 slots will always be full. Even if I don't have anything to sell or anything to do, I'll be testing things. And by doing that, I'll be trying to explore different options for either money making or selling and buying stuff known as flipping. Now, flipping is going to be limited on this series and I might not even do it at all. But it just depends on if we find something worthwhile. If we get to that point, I will do an episode just on flipping and talking through why I would do this, what kind of cash stack and stuff like that. But for now, I'm just purely doing the money making methods. So I have a couple of GP to my name and basically one of the bowstrings sold. Now, one of the important things I'm going to be doing on this series is shop runs. Now, invention really changed the game with how the demand on certain items has increased. Like, these items you can buy from a shop now are generally mostly profits because people can disassemble them for different invention components, but also takes these items out of the game, but also is a really good chance for you to buy things at a low price and sell for a high price. Now, a really good example for this is Zaf. So for Zaf, you can buy 10 of these wizard hats for 2 GP each. So for 20 GP, I've just turned 20 GP into a price of 21k. Now, the wizard hats are by far the best ones to do this for. The top and bottoms are like the second and third place. But again, we're going to turn sort of a very low cost of GP. So I'll probably spend like 200 GP here. And I'm going to turn that into 32k. Now, the tops and bottoms don't generally sell as well as the hats. The hats really are the best ones. But again, it's me turning a small amount of cash into a bigger amount of cash. And then this kind of just snowballs when I can start going to sword shops, bow shops, runes, all these different things you can buy from the like stores generally do make quite a bit of profit. So I'm hoping through the context of this sort of series, I can show you the ones which are really worthwhile doing and buying into. And you can make quite a bit of GP from that as well. Now, once I'm at a better stage in terms of cash, I will keep buying all these items, especially the Zaf stuff. And I'll show you guys at the end how much we've made just from doing this and buying these through the series as well. It's a nice little thing to keep tabs on and just show you guys, look, this is how much profit you can make from this as well. Little things like a staff. I don't think this should be anywhere near what it should be. Actually, no, it's 2k. So yeah, we're going to buy all the staffs as well. They're 15 GP each to then turn into 2,000 coins. And again, it's just checking things like checking if there's anything worthwhile doing. So a fine cloth is 500 GP. Bark, don't know when that's got here. That's 1.1k. Again, all these like different things you can look at buying can make you profit over time. I'm just going to stick to these items anyway because these will be the best ones. But yeah, we've made a nice little bit to start with from Zaf's shop. Now, I haven't, since the first episode, done my challenges. These will mainly be things where you can get XP from. Again, in members, you will get keys from doing your challenges. We'll only get XP, but even then, like, this will give me a nice bump up in things like mining, smithing, and then crafting as well. Especially with smithing, I need to get to level 9 smithing sooner rather than later, because that'll give me the ability to get extra bronze bars when I smith them. So that'll be a nice big plus for that as well. However, I'm going to do my daily challenges, and then I'm going to do a little bit of a game plan and stuff, and we'll work out where we're going to go from there. So, first little decent level 20 woodcutting. Now, the plan here was to basically get my woodcutting and mining level up to about the 20-25 mark, just while we're waiting for stuff to sell on the Grand Exchange. Some of the wool has sold, so we're going to have a little play around with that price in a second. I'm just basically thought, while I was here, I made a wood box. I'm going to fill the wood box, and then that way we've kind of made like 200k. Just by filling that up, and yeah, pretty decent to be fair. Getting the upgrade as well to 20 means we could do oak, and oak is actually a decent price actually. Yeah, so an oak log is 1.1k, again very similar to this price, but slightly better XP. So maybe we do oaks, because oaks are one you can AFK a bit more. But what I would say, they have done a great update, which since the last time we did low level trees, the trees don't vanish just after one log now. There's a chance that you can get multiple logs from one tree. It didn't work there. But it makes trees much more AFKable at a lower level, which has kind of made this an option for us to do while waiting for stuff to sell on the Grand Exchange. So when you would cut a tree now, as you can see here, there is a chance you can get multiple logs rather than just a guaranteed one log per tree, which we used to have. Okay, so that's the first shipments of logs. Banking something like 100 normal logs there, which would be about 125k, which is what we needed to get the ball rolling on other stuff. So with this money, we can go and put some offers in on the Grand Exchange to buy supplies for us to process and skill with and make money off. So what I'm going to do now, we've got level 21 woodcutting, and that's good enough to do things like oak, upgrade on some axe. Just makes woodcutting a bit more accessible than anything, and the wood box also has bigger capacity. What we'll do next, we'll put some offers on the Grand Exchange, we'll go and buy some stuff, and then we're going to go do mining to roughly 20 to 25. Now what that will do, that'll give us enough bronze bars to then get to like the level 9 smithing, where we can get the ability to get double bronze bars. So bronze bars then become a very good money maker for us, if we ever need to make some money with smithing. And not only that as well, it gives us time to sell things on the Grand Exchange. So I'm just going to throw all these logs in. So we're currently up to 63 logs, and then we fire in all of these, so 150 logs of what we've currently got. Now, we've sold the bowstrings, which is nice. So we've got some cash from the bowstrings, which is good, which we'll put into some flax. And then we've also got the balls of wool. So the important thing now is to see how much standard wool costs to buy. If this costs less than 1,000 coins, then in my opinion, it is worth buying. Again, it bought under mid. So you're making somewhere in the region of about 1,500 coins per bull of wool, which, yeah, we'll go for that. So that's going to be about 80-ish. Yep, 80-ish is, well, so we're going to buy about 60 and then just see how that goes from there. We've instant bought some, which is good. So we'll be able to process this, turn this into balls of wool, and then sell on the Grand Exchange while we go and do some other stuff as well. So because I've got a decent amount bought, I will go and process this now, and then we can just get it on the Grand Exchange selling while we're off doing other stuff. And then again, we can just keep it rolling over, and we'll just get a bigger amount every single time. Now, the short bows, if they would sell, would be really good because it would give us some profit with fletching, which if we can get that, that will be a good way to train fletching. I think fletching is an important skill to train, but I want to do it in a way which brings in profit rather than spending money to do it. I'm more than happy to spend money between like level 50 and level 80 because that is quite a big chunk. But upwards to about level 50, I'd much rather take a slower process and also make money alongside with it as well. Like, I don't want to train many skills in free to play and lose money from them. I want to simply make money from all the skills. Now, sometimes you want to take a shortcut and you want to get to a level where you can make more money quicker. Yes, that could be a good time to buy, but for me, I'd much rather grind it out with a lot of things in free to play being AFK. So we're going to do these balls of wool. I also have as well some of the white cloth. So once you put the ball of wool through the loom, that's how you make standard wizard armor. I need to put some of that on the Grand Exchange as well, because if that sells, that could be a better use of wool as well, and another way for us to make a little bit more money on top of what we're already doing. And what I'll be doing with the mining and smithing as well is upgrading the ore box. The ore box and the wood box are two very important items, which are very beneficial to the account, and with the ability just to store logs rather than running back and forth to the bank. It just makes woodcutting more AFK, and the 20 woodcutting levels we've just got, I probably did it in about 10-15 minutes, and again, I've made 125k from it. It really isn't that bad. And that first mill, I think, is starting to approach a little bit quicker than what I thought it was. I thought I'd have to sort of do a bit of bowstrings, like maybe 1.5k bowstrings will get you your first mill. It can be as easy as that, and flax really only costs about 150k. So really, as it stands, I could quite comfortably make that just by selling the logs and buying flax and then processing them into bowstrings. And don't get me wrong, I think we'll end up doing that. But while I'm trying to test some different things, I can go and get mining. So mining can be an option later on down the line if we want to use it. If we want to use it as a money-making skill as well as smithing. Smithing will be quite big, I think, for this series. But if you've made it this far, let me know what methods you do in free-to-play to make some money. In a minute, I'm trying to do that more chilled approach to sort of the gameplay and stuff. But if we go for a cheeky little wealth evaluator, 490k, which is not too bad considering I've probably been playing an hour-ish. So yeah. We'll crack on and we'll come back a little bit later on with a further update. So just went for a little shop run before putting these balls of wool in, and the black swords from the sword shop in Varrock, 600 GP to buy in a current grand exchange price of 8,000 coins each, which is crazy how good that is. What I'll probably do is pop these balls of wool in to sell, and then I'll also put in the black swords, because if I can sell them quite quick, I'm quite happy to sell them a little bit under, because I'll just go and buy some more. And with that, I can sort of like roll a little bit of GP over, and just from doing that as well. So I'm going to stop buying the balls of wool just right now. And if I can sell these for, let's go 6,999, we've just transformed something like 3,000 coins into 7,000 coins as well. So yeah, the items currently selling are these. And again, it's just testing if things are viable, if things are worthwhile doing. The black sword is pretty much a free gamble. I can really just bring that down to something like 2,000 coins. And still make profit, and even at 2,000 coins, it's still worth buying. So, yeah, the short bow, I'm just going to drop a little bit more. Again, if 3,000 coins is still viable, and it's still a good way to train fletching as well. Once that does this. But especially the longbows and the short bows, I mentioned it before, on the OG Little Meep 272 account, we did that for a while. And, it was good, but you can never really count on why it's that kind of price, actually. Thinking about it, I'm going to take the short bow out. I'm going to try and sell one of these strips of cloth. They sold 4,000 coins. Right, okay. So I will sell those. I'm going to try and sell them for a little bit higher. And we're going to go and do some skilling while testing that. So we know worst case, we can sell them for 4,000 coins. What I'm trying to do there is if I can sell them for something like 6.6k, it's worthwhile buying wool, or when I'm making balls of wool, to then do the next step to turn them into cloth afterwards, because 2 balls of wool equals 1 of those cloth. So again, just trying to see if I could push the margin. But I imagine it's a low volume item as well, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to leave things to sell. I'm going to go and do a big stint of mining now. I'm going to get to the point where it's going to involve stamina, which I think is like level 20 or 25. Basically, for the early levels of mining, you don't have the stamina bar, and then when the stamina bar comes in, it becomes a lot less AFK. So 15. Level 15 is when it stops happening. So I'll get level 15, and then I'll accept my daily challenges, because I didn't want to do it now, because if I got the XP now, it just means I'm close to level 15, and then mining has a chance of being less AFK. So I'm going to AFK this. I'm going to go and actually edit some videos and maybe record a market watch, and yeah, we'll come back and we'll go from there. So just about to level 15 mining. Just been AFKing away, and as you can see now, I only have the blue progress bar above my head. A level 50 mining is the point you hit something called energetic mining, which then reflects your stamina bar. This means that you need to keep your stamina bar up to be doing the most efficient form of mining. So now we've done that, there you go, there is our yellow bar, and that reflects our stamina. As we mine more and more, our stamina goes down, which basically means we need to hit the rock again to be at the most optimal points which we're going to mine. So as you can see here, as soon as the stamina is gone, we are very slow in our progress of mining, and it's not worthwhile doing. The action takes a lot longer to do, and it's much more better to have a topped up stamina bar. So mining now is not as AFK as what it was, but we're going to go and get 100 of each bronze and tin, which will give us access to 100 bronze bars, which again we can throw on a grand exchange, or we can level up our smithing a little bit to progress that a little bit further. And because I'm using the army axe, which is something you get from Pathway for doing like lumberage in Tav, what this does is give me these uncut lapis gems. Now all these are really good for is basically just some crafting XP, and because I've been getting them while mining, I'm up to level 11 crafting, which isn't a lot, but when I've not actually trained crafting at all, it's just come from doing this mining, it's very, very nice anyway. So I'm going to rattle out 100 tin, then we'll go back to the Grand Exchange, change a few things with the offers. The balls of wool are selling, which is nice. And we'll just see how we go in terms of that. Nothing else is really sold, but again, we've not really been here that long. Literally a couple of minutes. We'll do the copper, we'll do the tin, we might even smith the bars, and then we'll come back with what we're going to do. I don't think we're too far off the 1 mil for today, which will round off the episode, but we'll see where we are when we've finished these bars. So a nice little stint of mining done there. We are currently sat at just under 150 of each ore, so that'll be about 150 bars. So I'm debating whether to use that for smithing XP just to get to level 10, but 24 mining is nice. A lot of quest stuff unlocked there, which will really help when this account does do that first little bond in members, just show you guys how to sustain and how to build from where we're going to finish for this series. Some other stuff as well from common gem drops, jade and red topaz, so that actually might be somewhere we go very soon. And just check out what the prices of those gems are, because again, they can make money due to the crafting and having those gems for urns. And the demand of that has gone up, and I do think the volume in the game really doesn't match the demand currently. 13 crafting as well, just from those gems, actually was a little bit efficient of me to actually use the dwarf axe for that, because that's what's been giving us the gems to cut while mining as well. So that's been nice. So level 12 crafting, couple of stuff there, nothing too out there. Clockwork mechanisms are very good, but they are members, so we can't do that anyway. Now, something which is a lot better than what it used to be, sedimentary goods. Now, you get these from mining, and you basically have a chance of getting either gems or spirit shards. Now, in a minute, these gems are up in price, which is why it's actually worthwhile me opening them. Normally, they just get thrown into the bank and then left for a day and age. But because these are related to the topaz, jade, and opal, it's worthwhile doing and throwing on the Grand Exchange anyway, and especially because we're so low on cash, it is actually worth doing in a minute anyway. But we've got some diamonds as well, some sapphires and emeralds. Really, I just want the topaz and jade, and those are the ones which will really give us some worth. But we'll open these and then we'll go to the Grand Exchange to sell some stuff, because I believe the wool has sold. Now, what I'm going to do, basically just to round this episode up, because I think it's a little bit long already, I'm going to buy 1.5k flax, because what that'll basically do is mean that the start of the next episode will be at the 1 mil mark, ready to go and use the cash to go and move and improve the account very, very quickly. Now, we'll be able to buy the cash just from simply selling the logs, which we would cut it earlier for level 20. And then that just means that even like the stuff for bronze we've got available is just for pure extra GP as well. By doing all that mining, we are currently sat at 780k, so we're not really that far off the bond anyway. And just from doing some stuff, all this episode really was leveling for what I think we're going to do in future. And to be fair, doing this 1k bowstrings is going to be beneficial, because it's going to give us crafting levels, it's going to give us a lot of crafting. I wouldn't be surprised if we came back to episode 3 with something like 30-ish crafting, which would be a nice way to start the episode, because then that's when we can start doing some serious things. We'll have a 1 mil cash stack where I've got a couple investments in mind of things I want to do. And the reasons I want to do it will kind of play out a little bit more once we explain the game plan in the next episode. So just checking the Grand Exchange for the final time. So the black swords haven't sold, but it's the balls of wool which have. So what I'm going to do is just check how much wool it is, and then I'm going to put an offer in for this as well, because I think this is a very good money maker. I think it's something we need to stick forward as long as it's beneficial to us. So they've gone up in price to 520. The strip of cloth I'm just going to sell for the mid price which they sold for anyway, because it will give us a little bit of cash. We'll cross that 100k threshold. So if I go for wool, and again, I want to be aggressive. I want to instant buy as much as I can. We can buy 200, which is actually very nice. Leave that to buy on the Grand Exchange. And then the other thing we're going to do is sell all of our logs. Just sell them a little bit under mid price. So hopefully they will go by next time in the episode. Basically, what's going to happen is these will sell. I'll buy some flax, and then we'll start the next episode after we've done that 1k flax and all the crafting levels as well. So I don't know how long this video is, but we have actually packed in quite a big amount. To finish the episode off though, we are going to go and hand in all of the challenges, which is going to give us a multiple of levels. So from that, we are now 14 crafting, level 5 smithing, and we didn't get to mining level, but we're very close. So very much worthwhile doing. I could have held a little bit off on the smithing one, but you know, we moved. So yeah, that's going to wrap up episode 2. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know any suggestions you guys have got in the comments below. Is there anything else I could do in terms of this stage? Again, episode 3 is going to be a big layout, the master plan for Moneymakers video. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. Shouldn't be too long for it anyway. Should be recording and editing pretty soon for that. Thank you guys so much for the support. It really does mean a lot. If you drop me a sub, drop me a like, it really does help me out. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys very soon in the next video.